Many vintage audio enthusiasts know that if you have a compact cassette that looks great but sounds terrible because the tape inside has degraded, it's not necessarily a problem. You can simply remove the screws, take off one half of the cassette shell, and carefully swap the tape reels with those from a good quality but generic-looking blank cassette used as a donor. However, what do you do with a cassette like this one, that doesn't have screws? It's a Soviet-made MK60-1 blank cassette produced by the Kazan Photo Gelatin Factory. I bought it for the design. It looks really cool and very Soviet, but the tape quality itself is pretty bad. The recording on it sounds like some kind of computer program loading from a cassette tape. There is also this other modulation that sounds quite unusual. I'm not an expert in retro computers, so if you recognize what it is, let me know in the comments. Anyway, if you try recording anything on this tape, now I'm recording a 440 Hz sine wave, when you play it back, the signal drops by about 4 decibels. Soviet decks and tapes used the same levels and biases, so it's not a compatibility issue. It's just that the tape isn't good and never really was. But the case looks nice, so we are going to replace the tape. Unfortunately, as we noted earlier, this cassette has no screws. Replacing the tape would therefore require cracking the shell open, which risks breaking it, so here is an alternative method. First, I pull out some of the tape from the beginning of the cassette and cut it off. Then, I do the same with the donor cassette. After that, I splice the two tapes together using a splicing block. Next, I wind all the old tape out of the cassette using an electric screwdriver. Towards the end, I slow down and pull the remaining tape out by hand, so the excessive torque of the screwdriver doesn't tear it. Then, I feed the new tape into the cassette using the same method. I just chuck a pen into the screwdriver and it turns the reel just fine. The tape isn't damaged this way. The magnetic side doesn't rub against anything. The back side does, but that's really not important. Again, near the end I slow down, and then I glue the new tape to the already cut end of the old tape that's sticking out of the cassette. Now, one problem remains. When you wind the tape using this method, it runs outside the proper tape path inside the cassette shell. To get around this, we can use the fact that the shell, even a non-separable one, is still made of two halves. By gently prying them apart with tweezers, I can slip the tape back into the place through the gap. The leader tape is much thicker, so it can handle some rough treatment without any issues. Once the tape is back inside, I double-check that it moves freely and the cassette is ready to use. Before using the cassette for the first time, rewind it in your deck. When we rewound the tape with a screwdriver, there was no back tension on the supply reel, so the tape inside the cassette didn't wind evenly. A single rewind in the deck fixes that. I recorded the exact same music I used to listen to as a kid on a cassette just like this one, and now I've got the best sounding MK60-1 in the world.